In this video of the Better Photography Weekly Challenge, we will be discussing the winners and honorable mentions of the contest portraits. Our judge and mentor is Mr. Nrupen Madhvani. He is an award-winning photographer based in Mumbai whose career spans over a few decades. His portfolio includes interiors, portraits, lifestyle, and product photography. He believes that less is more, and that mantra is reflected in the simple rhythm of his conceptual work. Though photography is his first love, Nrupen sometimes feels the need to express his thoughts through the medium of motion pictures. And with that in mind, he has directed a documentary film and a few short films. Along with his abiding interest in photography, he also cherishes his continued role as an educator and mentor. Hello and welcome, sir.
Hi, Nilofer. Good to be back.
Can you please take over and show us the winners?
So in the camera category, my selection comes from a couple of sort of distinctions that I make. My primary kind of response to a photograph comes from it's always right brain. Okay, so I mean that is consistent through all the stories, but the stories that kind of I don't know, emotionally grab me. Okay, stories that sort of have for example, Pankaj Harolikar's image of this man, making a garland, a very common sight, would have not worked had it not had the play of light and shade, his body language, the concentration. See, it may be a constructed shot. I mean, I don't know whether Pankaj, the photographer, told the guy to hold it right there, with his hands there. It doesn't matter to me. If the construction works, if it is staged and it's been staged well, I am okay with that because the potential is there. It's not artificial, in that sense. At some point of time, even before the photographer asked this guy to do this, the guy was doing it anyway, and maybe Pankaj saw it and he just wanted to repeat it, right? Repeat the guy, he wanted the guy to repeat it. So, that's the first sort of kind of connect that I have, the emotional connect, the light and shade and everything else, comes as part of that. In this case, of course, it's an emotional content. The emotional content that sort of gets me because, I see this every day. We see this every day, in on the streets. It's nothing uncommon for us, but there's a muted kind of dark. Even the flowers, there's a kind of desaturated feel. There's a sense of a man who has spent his life sitting at his flower stall and doing this, and you got to be in some kind of Zen state to be able to do this, every day of your life. It's kind of meditative for him. Maybe he loves doing it. I'm sure, there's some passion, but at the same time, the photographer has muted the colors. It's almost monochrome, and that gives it a tinge of sadness also, that this man has spent his whole life, and maybe he loves it or not. I mean, but his sales are not going to be, enough for him to, sort of buy himself a house, what I'm saying? Or put his, whatever it is. I mean, but this is what I see here. I'm going to go to the next one. Yeah, so again, what works for me with Abir's shot is it's like a combination. I think this must be Durga Puja or something like that. You know, it's a festival, and most probably it's West Bengal, and you know, um, there is, I don't know, there's an intensity here. You know, everything. You know, I love the fact that the shades of the colors in her sari, even the way the baby is, you know, sort of wrapped up, that color, the sun, you know, the warmth of the sun, the headless torsos of various statues in the background, that look on a face that's kind of, you know, it's in complete contrast to what we feel about, you know, motherhood, you know, and you know, there are moments, you know, in the life of a mother, especially these first few months, I'm pretty sure, where everything's not hunky dory. Okay, it's like tough. That tiredness, that looking after the baby, the festivities, and maybe she's, you know, looking back and saying, hey, when I was younger, you know, I used to be this different person, and I used to let my hair down and, you know, have fun, and you know, and the photographers got that expression, you know. So even though there's a lovely light and shade play, and you know, there's all these various tones and all that, what grabbed me immediately was her face and her eyes. I mean, that's where I went immediately. Obviously, part of that sort of immediate kind of direction my eyes moved was because of the red, you know, color on her forehead going down to her nose too. But you know, even though I can only see one eye, that eye speaks a lot. Um, Jignesh Chavda, Ahmedabad. Again, you know, it's like, again, you know, these three images that I've sort of selected. It's like an emotional connect. Okay, each of the three images. The first one, you know, that guy with the garlands. The second one, mother and child. The third one, now this guy is, I don't know whether he's the father of the children or he's just taking them for a ride and making some extra money. I get the feeling he's the father, because one of the kids is like totally like sort of zoned out. You know, the younger one is just lying asleep on the handlebars. And there's no, it's not like, you know, when kids get onto a cycle or, you know, and go for a joy ride, there's an expression on their faces that says, hey man, we're having fun, and you know, there's laughter, and there's a jumpiness, there's bounciness. No, these kids are tired. Maybe they've been with their dad the whole day, and you know, they've also sort of had enough and they want to go back home, and the dad's tired too, obviously, and maybe it's not been such a good day for him, because look at the number of balloons that he hasn't sold, you know. So it's, you know, I like the contrast. There's supposed to be a happy picture with all the balloons and the bright colors, but at the same time there is this edginess to it. Even though, you know, you have all this brightness, my attention is diverted to the story of these three. So again, an emotional connect. Akash Singh Chauhan, Kanpur. Something that we've seen a lot, you know, maybe it's you know, it's that part of the world where women, Marwadi women especially, you know, they they kind of don't like to show their faces, and it's a very typical shot in that sense. There's nothing out of the ordinary, but from a sense of design. Now here's where it's not about the emotional content, it's about the fact that it is a black and white image, treated well. There's a beautiful flow in, you know, it's almost like, you know, a stylist has gone there and you know, sort of done that, you know. The sari, the way it's flowing, there is a rhythm here, you know, and I like the rhythm. Yeah, this one, I mean, is obviously, I mean, I get all choked up when I see something like this, because there's, I mean, what do you say? How do you, you know, express what you're feeling? This little kid, what this kid is going through, and you know, the outdoors is visible, but you know, it's like the story. I don't know if you read a short story, right, called Guy de Maupassant. You know, maybe it was Guy de Maupassant. I don't remember, or maybe it was somebody else. But this is a short story about this little kid is in a room, and there is a window, and there is a tree outside the window of the kid's room, and that tree has leaves, and you know, it's autumn and the leaves start falling, and the kid hangs on because there's one leaf that is not falling. And the leaf in this case is the mom. Metaphorically, that strength that the kid gets is the love and care from the mom. Love the light on this saline bags hanging at the top. That's the only splash of color in an otherwise very sort of muted image. I mean, you know, this is not something, you know, the other images people may like, may not like, but this one like grabs you, and it grabs everybody. You know, it's not we respond to something like this. Dibakar Roy, Calcutta, or Kolkata, as they say now. A very classic traditional shot. There's nothing, again, you know, when I've seen images like this time and time again, it could almost be a cliche, you know, because it's a profile shot, light coming from behind. There's nice soft rim light. It's got all the bells and whistles that you need to make a good black and white portrait of a mother and child. Now, what separates this from the others? For me, it's, you know, a few things. Number one, you know, it's like the eyes. I mean, the kid's eyes and the mother's eyes. I'm assuming that's a mother and child. Um, and there's a little of kind of intensity and sadness in both their faces. There's a little bit of spit that's drooling down from the little kid's, you know, lip, lower lip, which the light has caught. I like the textures. I like the fact that, you know, I can see, you know, the pores of a skin and nose, the mother's, and the child is kind of slightly out of focus, but I mean, concentration is obviously on the mother and the detail. I mean, I love the detail. So it's a classic portrait. I mean, I may not remember it tomorrow, okay? I may remember the others tomorrow, but this is old school stuff, which, you know, is classic. It stays with, it's going to be there for years, okay? Debarshi, I guess that's how it's pronounced. Mukherjee, Kolkata. Again, something about the face. Obviously, there's texture. Um, there's the contrast between the kind of bluish that you have on the face as well as the warmth, and otherwise nice balance, nicely placed composition, direct into the camera. Not the usual kiddie picture where you're getting the smiles, and which are nice also, but nothing exceptional about this. But I like the composition. Okay. Kausik Paul. This one is like sort of, I saw it and I had to look again. I like images. See, this falls into that other category that I was talking about, the stylized category, the category that's not emotion centric. It's a category where you've got a hell of a lot of things happening. There's confusion, there's chaos. It all looks very random, but it's far from random. I mean, it's a very, you can capture this in one shot if you spend enough time with the artists, the craftsmen, but the traditional craftsmen of this dance, this thing. But you could have caught it by taking 500 shots, and you got lucky with one. Yeah, so I mean, this comes into that category where it doesn't tug at my heartstrings or anything, but at the same time, I like it because of the chaos, and there's a nice balance. I mean, it's kind of, it's in the chaos. There's a method in the chaos. It's like madness in the image, but there is a method in the madness. I do feel I should tell Kausik that maybe he could have under-processed the image a little bit. I think he's punched it up to a point where it looks a little fake, okay? But because it's such a good image, the over-editing that he's done has kind of pulled him through. Mark Anthony. What's there not to like? I mean, it's like got this lovely desat. It's got, I don't know, again it's like the eyes, of course, but it's got that sepia kind of old world feeling, and it goes with the subject. And again, eyes into camera, that doesn't always work, but in this case it does. The background, the skin tones, that sort of blending of the background and his skin tones. There's this silence. I like the silence in this shot. If this hadn't been Mohammed Aasif Pathan, I mean, if his picture hadn't been this tight, I would not have selected it. It's not at the top of my list, okay? I must say that. Apologies to Mohammed Aasif, but it's kind of a cliched image. One has seen this so often, but at the same time, you see all this stuff happening on the face, the lines and the textures, and I love the detail. I mean, that's it. In the smartphone category, winners and honorable mentions, you have another sort of image of man and an animal. The two sort of working together. They actually may be working together because in India and in some other parts of the world, animals are used as part of a routine to earn money, right? So yeah, I mean, the kid doesn't sort of grab me as much as that monkey does. I mean, that monkey is totally tuckered out. I mean, that monkey's worked hard. I like the wide angle, you know, I don't like to see such images because, you know, I do feel that there's, you want to earn your bread and butter, but you're using a helpless wild creature to do that. And, you know, the child, even though, you know, the child won't be older than 8 to 10 years old, knows that, you know. I mean, they all know it at a very early age that they need to do whatever they can to make a buck, yeah. So again, not at the top of my list, Suryodoy Mandal, but there is something about it. Again, this is one of those classic old school pictures with a nice twist, where, you know, the twist happens in terms of you know, it's like posed, very posed, but there's a sense of almost haughtiness in the body posture of this old man. It's like, hey man, you know, I'm a dude, you know, at my age I'm still a dude, you know, and I can pull this off. Don't worry, just go ahead and shoot, you know, and I'll give you your shot. So yeah, it's nice. The composition's nice. Like to see the texture, the hands, you know, the background, as cluttered as it is kind of, yeah, I just like the composition. I mean, it's one of those shots where I'm not really feeling, you know, the tug, emotional tug, but yeah, I like I find it a little funny. Okay, there's a sense of humor here. Okay. Oh God, why do we subject ourselves to this? Um, Love the textures. You know, there's the foot. It's like the feet and the face, and you know, it's like it's all one. There is really no separation, and it doesn't matter. You know, I don't know what he's doing, but I don't think he's happy doing what he's doing. But the textures, it's like almost, you know, at another level. I mean, if the feet weren't there, it wouldn't have made, you know, the picture as powerful. But at this level, when I'm looking at these textures, I'm also looking at destruction. I'm looking at death. I'm looking at what's happening around us environmentally, you know, and it's not good. So because this picture has layers, I like it because it has layers, okay? It's not a simple picture. I mean, it's why it isn't a simple picture is because of the textures. So Sanid's, right, Choudhury? Good shot. That's it? Ah, no. Pankaj Harolikar has done an abstract image where I really don't know how he shot this, and I really don't care, but it's almost like, I don't know, again, the layers like sort of work for me. I also see the profile of a face here. For some, you know, reason, I kind of do see, you know, these things. Can you see it? The nose, the mouth?
Yeah. Now I can see it. For the longest time, I thought it's a lady who's standing there, but now if I see
I know the lady is there. No, I mean, I'm saying the layers. The reason I sort of got pulled into this image is because it reminds me of this old tribal kind of sculpture, you know.
It does.
With this kind of headgear sticking out, or maybe that's the hair, you know, tied in a certain way. But obviously, it's a very striking pose by a young woman, you know, and that is the immediate sort of, you know, the what you notice immediately is that. But then when you notice that and you're wondering, oh, okay, he's got this potted plant hanging, and you know, it's like shot maybe through some sort of reflective glass that is in between him and that person. And yeah, I mean, I love, see, this is that other side of me, the other side of me that loves the abstract, the conceptual, the pictures that make me ask, like, why, you know, why has the photographer done this? You know, I like it. I like asking those questions. I may not always, you know, sort of get the right answer, because these things are pretty subjective. But yeah, there's something about this picture. Rajat Parashari. Yeah, you know, I'm looking at all these kid pictures, and you know, I'm saying, hey, these pictures I like because they're not the normal kid pictures. You know, I don't think Krishna would have ever been. I guess this is Krishna. I'm not sure. Looks like Krishna, but no kid is supposed to look that sad. I mean, you know, it's like, you know, that expression is it's also very non-binary, you know, the lipstick and the color. And you know, I mean, I like that part of it, you know, that our culture about, you know, not giving a damn about, you know, putting lipstick on a guy, you know, it's got nothing to do with genders and this and that. It's just part of our culture. Our culture is always been quite non-binary in that sense, you know. And uh, you know, the kid is got, it's saying, it's almost like the kid is asking, why am I doing this? You know, he's got that question. He's a little confused. He's not totally there, you know, and he doesn't even understand most probably why he's got like these multiple malas around his neck. I mean, is this religion really? I mean, is he being indoctrinated, and is he not liking the fact that he's being indoctrinated? So, you know, these are the things that pulled me to this image. Right. So, Sanit Rai Choudhury, is it the same guy who had done the picture of the girl in the balcony in the blue? No, that was Pankaj Harolikar. But
Sanit did the sand one.
He had done the what? The sand one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So there is a very dark side to Sanit Rai Choudhury, which he's quite open to exploring. Okay, and you know, it's okay. I've seen this kind of thing, you know, where you position somebody behind an object, and you know, suddenly it gets this other feeling. But yeah, I like the textures. It's not as good as the other image of Sanit's. Okay, I prefer the one with the textures, and you know, that the other one that I mentioned. Yeah, but I like it. And this is Pankaj Harolikar, who did the one with the lady's silhouette. That's the one, right? This one.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's the same photographer, and I like the abstract. I like the balance. I like the play of light and shade. I don't know what the hell is going on here. I don't know whether it's a multiple exposure. I don't, you know, but I love the abstract. I love the juxtaposition of all these various elements, you know, which sort of, you know, the embroidery or whatever, the design on that material on the left, sort of balancing itself with the leaves, the natural leaves also. There's so much happening here. I could look at this picture for ages, not understand what the hell is going on and still like it. Shishong Goyan. I don't know if I'm pronouncing these names correctly, but obviously it's a Bengali name and they have their own way of pronouncing these things, these names. Yeah, I don't know. It's like this kid. I like the angle. Number one, it's like obviously the center of attention. This picture is that mural, and the kid is the little girl is most probably like fascinated by the eyelashes and the eyes, yeah, and even though the eyes look a little like um, kind of scary, but at the same time there's beauty there, in that mural. And I like the quizzical expression on the kid's face, saying like, "Wow, why is why has she done this to herself?" So that again is a connect between. I love it when kids express themselves in a way that's not just. Again, I'm saying I love the smiles. I mean, there's nothing more wonderful than seeing a child smile and laugh. But at the same time, I know kids have many dimensions, right? I haven't lost that part of myself. And, you know, these kid pictures that I've selected today have kind of reminded me of how, kids do have dimensions, and they have a world of their own, which not many people look at kids and like sort of want to understand what they're going through, but they're going through a lot. So winners, camera category, third prize is Abir Choudhury. Second prize is Amod Kumar. The winner is, Mark Anthony. It's a very stylized picture. Okay, I love this picture because not only the tones, but it's very stylized. Each and everything is kind of. It's very obvious that a lot of care and attention has gone into making this picture kind of wall worthy. Winners, smartphone category, Muhammad Ali, Aasif Pathan, Muhammad Aasif Pathan, third prize. Like I said, I love the humor in that shot. Second prize is Rajat Parashari. Again, the befuddled, indoctrinated, religious aspect of our culture, all those things. And the winner is Pankaj Harolikar. And I would love Pankaj to tell me what the hell this picture means. But I've given you first prize, okay? So maybe you can tell me what it means. Maybe you can share that with us. Is that it?
Yeah, that is it. Yeah. So, do you have any tips that you would like to share with all of the participants? Anything that you want them to like focus on?
Yeah, I always, I'm not tips. I mean, it's like from the quality of the work that I've seen, there's very little, in terms of tips that I can give. I'm a little kind of bowled over by the quality of the submissions. I think Better Photography has selected as usual, gone through them with a lot of detail and selected, made my work so much easier. But at the same time, I can really understand how, from all these entries, you guys must have toiled and over selecting just a bunch of them. So that's always one of those positions we find ourselves in, knowing that the guys who submitted the pictures are looking forward to seeing or listening to some feedback. And if you win in whatever category, that's a bonus. Okay, so I guess a piece of advice that I said I would like to counsel all the people who submitted, but especially the guys who won. Congratulations, definitely, wholeheartedly, but uh, don't let it go to your head, okay? Because this was yesterday. You did this yesterday. Now there's tomorrow. So keep plugging at it. I think the only reason why these guys have reached this level is because they practice. So okay, that's a tip. Practice. Keep practicing. To all those guys who didn't win, you're not losers. I mean, you got to keep at it. It doesn't matter whether you win or not. The reward is not really there. The reward is in the fact that you've created something of value. And yeah, I mean, there's pain, before pleasure.